What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Quickstart webinar. Happy Thursday. Hope you're having an amazing week in real estate, life, business, investing. Because what we do here is we just get better. We practice. We learn. We network. We grow. Right? If you're here, if you like those three things, we're gonna check those boxes here today. No doubt about that. So, any single time I'm teaching a class or a webinar, I am very, very big on disclaimers, right? Especially around the topic of private money lending. Like, real estate is a risky business. There is so much that can go wrong, especially in the fix and flip space. You name it, right? You're dealing with contractors, the market. There's so much that could go, go the wrong way, right? In the real estate business, it's ups and downs, right? Same thing goes with lending. So here's the deal. Today, I'm probably going to share some case studies. A lot of what I teach is real life stuff. Like, here's a deal, here's the situation, this is what they made, this is the problems, this is what went great, right? So just know that anytime I share a case study and we learn from case studies, that's my story, right? That's what happened to me, and it's never going to happen the same for me as it did for anyone else that's on this call, right? You each are writing your own stories, and a person's success has a lot to do with their education, their background, the real estate deal that they're involved in, and also the team that they surround themselves with. So I teach a class for Private Money Club called the Accelerator course, and one of the very first things that we teach in the Accelerator course and talk about is surrounding ourselves with licensed business professionals. So if you're on this call for the first time and you're like, hey, I want to get great at borrowing money, or I want to be great at lending money, we have to talk about the teams, right? So anytime we're talking about contracts, mortgages, promissory notes, real estate closings, wiring funds, it's imperative that real estate attorneys are involved in these transactions, right, guys? Anytime you're talking about market analysis, selling houses, as a real estate investor, doing your market research, as a lender on real estate deals, having a good understanding of what the market's like in the area where you're going to be funding your deals and lending money, right? So, and you don't want to take a guess at that. You don't want to just pull up Zillow or just take the borrower's word for it. You want to do your due diligence, right? You want to underwrite these deals. So it's also important to work with licensed real estate agents. If you're going to be borrowing funds, and it's a fix and flip type of deal, what type of people are going to be doing the work? Are they licensed contractors, right? If you're going to be lending money to someone who's doing a fix and flip project, who's going to be doing the work? Is it licensed contractors? So the list goes on and on. And it just, again, I could hit this every single time. We could talk about this for 4 hours. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with licensed business professionals when it comes to money and when it comes to real estate. If you're with me, say, oh yeah, in the chat box. Give me a big oh yeah in the chat box. All right, cool. There we go. Welcome, everyone. What's up? What's up? Good to see all the names on here. Wow, 97 people in climbing. This is really good so far. Huge attendance. I love it. It's been great. This is the 30th time. We only skipped 4th of July week. We've done this 30 sessions in a row. Isn't that amazing? 30 sessions in a row. So every single week, we like to celebrate our learning with a quote, some words of wisdom. And being that this is the 30th week, we've got my favorite number 30 out there, Henrik Lundqvist, hockey goalie for the greatest NHL organization in the history of the NHL. Never won a Stanley Cup, however, probably the most handsome man in hockey. Am I going too far to say this? Here's what Henrik Lundqvist says. Hey, don't be afraid to take risks. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of this success, right? Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of the success. And, as we go through these trainings and things like this, like, my goal as a coach, as a host of this webinars, is to help. We're gonna fail, but I don't want to fail when it comes to lending the funds. I don't want to fail when it comes to not completing the project, right? So that's why we practice here, right? I'm gonna teach you elevator pitches. We all the things that we talk about here today. My goal is for you to go out there and implement some of the things that we're learning, right? When it comes to talking elevator pitches and things like this. How many conversations have you had with people and they've said no, right? And you went back and you reworked, you practiced, right? You got better at explaining things, right? So it's gonna take time. Like this, I think one of the reasons why I'm so confident in myself when it comes to sitting down with someone and being able to explain how private money lending works. I'm so confident that they're going to want to fund one of my deals. And the reason that is because I've practiced this 10,000 times, probably more. Every single week, I have the opportunity to practice my elevator pitch with 150 other people on these calls, right? So take what you're learning here. Don't be afraid to fail and go out there and make it happen. All right. So for those of you who are on the call for the first time, welcome. Yeah, welcome. My name's Noah Harris. I'm a real estate investor out of Columbia, South Carolina. I work with the Private Money Club as a coach. I coach a program called their Accelerator Program, where we collapse time frames and really help people become great borrowers and great lenders with private money lending. We'll talk a little bit more about that because we got a new class coming up here soon that y'all can enroll in. I'm out of Columbia, South Carolina. Most of our real estate deals are here in Columbia that we work on. I do invest in Virginia, Florida, and North Carolina, but 99% of our real estate experience is 30 minutes from my house. 100% track record is really what I strive to help not just my team achieve, but each and every person that's on this call. I would love nothing more than to see one of you or all of you at a live event in the future or on another webinar in the future, and you come up to me and say, hey, Noah, you know what? I learned this, I learned that from you. And because of that, 100% track record lending my money, 100% track record when it comes to borrowing funds and paying back my lenders. Like, that's what it's all about, guys. That's what it's all about. I do believe that this is a relationship-based opportunity, right? Without the right relationships, that's what makes it special, right? That's what makes it special. This is relationship. You know, Chris Naugle, the founder of Private Money Club, he kind of calls this like the dating site for borrowers and for lenders, where lenders can meet borrowers, borrowers can meet lenders. You guys get the idea, right? So, and just like any good relationship, it involves things like communication, right? Being great at borrowing is just like being great in a dating relationship. How good is your communication, right? How do you present yourself? How do you present your deals? Like, I think there's a lot of similarities, and Chris is right with this. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, yes, it's relationship based, but if I can teach you how to have the right documents, how to underwrite a deal that makes sense, how to look at a property and be able to see some of the red flags, you know, that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, we got to look at who we're lending to and the asset that is going to be used as the collateral, right? So it's relationship based, but there's a lot to learn, right? There's absolutely a lot to learn. Do I have any of my Accelerator students on this webinar? I'm curious if you've taken the Accelerator course or you are currently taking the Accelerator course. Go ahead and put it in the chat box. Let's see where we're at. Oh, okay. Well, what's up, William? Hey, what's up, Derek? Good to see you guys. What's up, Joel? All right, awesome. I love it. I love it. Everybody's saying hi. I love to see that. And also make sure, guys, that you know, if it's a message for me, you can leave it as host and panelist. But if it's a message that you want to share within the chat group, just make sure you're selecting everyone so that you can see that everybody, you know, so that you can network with folks, right? Because I think this is a great place to meet people that might be open to working together and doing business together, right? So this is the plan. Every single week at Thursday at 1, we start on time. We keep it real estate. So there are a ton of different types of opportunities, investment opportunities, loan opportunities, all of these things like that, right? There's a ton of stuff out there. Even in Private Money Club, there's some cool different opportunities that Steven and Chris present to people, or not, they bring in people, present different things. We keep it real estate in here. So on this Zoom call, if you're like, hey, Noah, I want to learn how to borrow private funds to go do a fix and flip property, to buy a rental property, to buy an Airbnb, to do a wholesale transaction, to take on a small multifamily deal, you're in the right place, right? And if you're in this room and you're like, hey, I'm here to learn how to make a nice double-digit rate of return and have my money secured by real estate that's much more, you're in the right place too, all right? If you have any questions at all, I'll do my best to get to them in the chat, but lots of times the chat box just flows so quick that I can't catch them all. So if you have any questions, just type them in the Q&A section, and then like halfway through, I'll take a break and answer questions, and at the end, I'll answer any remaining questions that you have. I got my right-hand man there. I got my co-pilot, Jose Harkin. Jose just put the link in there. That's a Private Money Club link. So if you have any questions about the website, where to find something, you can click on that link. And if you have any questions at all about how Private Money Club works, you're looking to enroll in a course or a class, you just want to learn more, and you want some experience that knows what they're talking about to explain that question to you, Jose Harkin is the man. So you just click on the link there that says Blueprint, and he can help answer any questions that you have. All right, so he's awesome. All experience levels are welcome. Okay, all experience levels are welcome. All right, I love it. Okay, so I love it. How do we borrow and invest in mentorship without ruining credit, starting with nothing other than the collateral cash flow asset looking to invest in? It's like a chicken and an egg. Yeah, I don't know. Private Money Club's pretty affordable, and we do a lot of free trainings as well. So I would stay plugged in, Tal. Stay plugged in. I think you'll catch on to that this is the place you want to be. All right, what is your goal? Let's go. All right, so let's do a roll call here. I get questions all the time. This week at lunch, I sat down with a friend of my real estate agent and her husband, and they're doing some investing as well, but they also are looking to lend. And one of the biggest questions that they had were, where are these lenders at? Where are these lenders at? Like, I went to family, and my family member, my sister, and this is the conversation I had. My sister wants to be a private lender, but she wants 50% of our deals. And I know that's not how you do it, Noah. Like, where are these people? Who are these people that you're talking about? And so sometimes it's hard for people to imagine that there's a whole world of people that would love to lend on real estate deals and have their money secured by the real estate, right? But if you've never like swam in that pool, how would you even know that it exists? Like, I think sometimes people think that private money lenders are like this mythical creature that comes out from behind the waterfall on the full moon of every 12 years or something like that and just hands out mortgages. Like, that's not how this works. All right, private money lenders, they're everywhere, right? So let's do a roll call. Hey, if you are a real estate investor and you're on this call right now, you're one of the 125 people that are on this call right now, and you love the idea of using a person as opposed to a fund or a traditional bank to fund your real estate deals, type borrower in the chat box. Let's see how many we can get. Wow, okay. Hey, Maureen. Hey, Jennifer Patel. All right, cool. Good to see you. Zach, what's up, man? All right, borrower. All right, good. Terry's on here too. That's good. What's up, everybody? All right, cool. Wow, lots of okay. And I can tell you from personal experience, some of these names that I am seeing. By the way, if you're watching the replay on YouTube, you got to get on the live calls because the chat box is where it's at. I'm sorry. It's just how it is what it is. I see a lot of people. Some of these names I'm seeing are fantastic borrowers. And I don't want to name names, right? Like, I don't know if it's my place to say that William or Jennifer or Terry or Dare, if they're awesome people that you should be having conversations with. But based off of meeting them live in person, that again, relationship based lending, right? So cool. All right, if you're on the other side of that, right? You're on the other side of that. Where are my lenders at? If you are a lender, type lender in the chat box. Let's see what we got here. I hope my friend I had lunch with this week is on this call so he can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, they're coming in, right? Lender. And that's been my experience too with Private Money Club. Like, you guys, if someone's struggling to fund deals, the lenders are out there. It's not necessarily a matter of where are they, it's do you know what to say? Do you know how to say it? Can you present a deal and have it make sense to people where it's like, wow, okay, I can make 12% and have it secured by real estate that's worth much more? Like, that sounds amazing, right? What about both? Who's doing both? I love my folks that are doing both. right? So a lot of my real estate investor friends that have a corporate background, maybe they worked at IBM for 30 years or whatever, right? And they're retired from that career, and they have 401ks or something like that that they have with their companies, and then they rolled it over. Now they've got a self-directed account set up. They borrow for their own real estate deals, and then they lend out of their retirement account on other people's deals. So you're going to find a lot of people here like Maureen, like Chris, like Cecil, that do both, right? Which is super cool to see. So love it, love it, love it. Great job, guys. The lenders are out here. The borrowers are here. It's just a matter of, having conversations and doing, right? And I'll show you my little system and how I've leveraged this platform. The Private Money Club platform, if anyone's on this call for the very first time and you're brand new to this and you're like, what exactly is Private Money Club? It's a platform, right, where borrowers can meet lenders, lenders can meet borrowers. But there's a general understanding of like how this works. All right. So if you're tired of having conversations with family members that don't want to hear it, or neighbors or coworkers they're like, what are you talking about? Private. Hey, would you like to learn how to make a double-digit rate of return, have it secured by real estate that's worth way more than your amount that you got in the deal? They're going to look at you like you got 8 heads. But if you present a deal that makes sense within a space like the Private Money Club where people do this all the time, that deal is going to get funded, right? That's the goal, which is super cool. So you're fishing in the right pond. You're fishing in the right pond. All right, so this is one of the things we're going to bring up. I wanted to teach today and just talk about. Out of all the 30 calls that we've done, I don't think we've talked about this yet. And this is really valuable. This is really valuable to figure out, right? And what's our money goal? So this is for our borrowers, right? This is for our borrowers. And I'm asking you to participate here, all right, in the chat box. So for all my real estate investors that are out there, now I know there's going to be a range of the types of deals that you do. But one of the things that I'm always preaching to my accelerator course students is to have your business model figured out. Have your ideal project and those numbers figured out. All right. So and listen to what I'm saying right now. Don't put too much thought into what's on the screen just yet. If you have 30 seconds to explain your business model to someone, could you do it? Or do you need help with that? Right? If you had 30 seconds, and I'm talking about lenders, right? And your end goal is to get people excited about funding deals with you. Could you explain in 30 seconds, like, could you do an elevator pitch that really gets people excited? Right? When I think of elevator pitch, lots of times I think of the show Shark Tank. Anybody else a huge Shark Tank fan? I love Shark Tank. My 10-year-old son watches it with me. We love Shark Tank, right? If you like Shark Tank, type your favorite shark in the chat box. Let's see who your favorite shark is, right? Is it Mr. Wonderful? Is it Mark Cuban? Is it Lori? Who's your favorite, right? Who's your favorite? The one thing that I've seen on Shark Tank over and over and over and over again, the difference between the people who get funding and the people who don't get funding is the people who don't get funding don't know their numbers. They don't know their numbers, right? So they might have this great idea and in theory, it sounds amazing, right? But then when Mr. Wonderful or Barbara, right, Julie, as if Barbara was like, all right, what are your numbers? What are your sales? What are your projections? How much does it cost to make this item, right? What's your dollars per cost of the, if a person can't name their numbers, what are the sharks? What are the famous words that they say? For that reason, I'm out, right? For that reason, I am out. And so when we're talking numbers with lenders, it gets to the point where people want to see, okay, well, what does this look like? It's so important to have this figured out in advance of like what a deal looks like for you. So I live in Columbia, South Carolina. Our sweet spot, I'm going to give you an example, and I'm going to encourage you to go figure out what you want to do, right? What yours are. Maybe share it in the slides here or in the chat box here. In my area, we've got a deal right now going. It's like $800,000, and we've got everything from an $18,000 trailer up to an $800,000 lakefront property, right? But our sweet spot is right around the $200,000 price range. So if I'm talking to a lender, and someone who's interested, like, how does this work with the private money lenders? Well, I would let them know, hey, here's what we do. Typically, we buy houses for 150 grand, we put 50 into them, and a person's $200,000 loan is secured by an asset that's worth 300,000, right? So that right there allows people to a visual of what it looks like to work with us. $200,000 loan secured by a $300,000 asset, right? And then I can go up and continue the pitch as needed, right? But I'm encouraging each and every one of you to figure out what your niche is. Niche is rich. Figure out what your niche is. So for my real estate investors on here, let's talk about what we need, right? What's the average price average loan amount that you would need to do let's just say fix and flip deal, if that's your sweet spot in your area? What does that look like, right? What neighborhood are you going to focus on? What city do you focus on? What zip code do you focus on? How much are the houses? What are the average repair costs? Type it in the chat box, right? Type it in the chat box. How much money do you need, right? I mean, who's got a deal right now that needs one, right? William says, hey, my average loan amount is 95K. I love it. 95K. Beautiful. Beautiful. Chris says 150K. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm going to use Chris as an example here, right? So Christine, how many deals do you plan on doing every 12 months as an example, right? What does that look like? Every 12 months, how many deals? Like, what's your goal, right? I know it's October, but we should be thinking about next year's goals right now, right? So when we plant the seeds right now, like, let's not wait until January before we start having conversations with lenders, right? Let's get this lined up over the next 3 months so that when January hits and we start, our marketing, hopefully you're doing your marketing right now too, so that when January hits, you've got your deals already in the funnel, in your pipeline, right? Okay, cool. So I'm just going to go off the 150 since that's what Chris said. And Chris said, hey, if I could do 4 small deals, right? Or she said small business. I love that. I love that. I love just being dialed into what you're working on, right? There's no right or wrong answer. So if you need 150 per deal, you're looking to do 4 deals, right? Your private money lending goal should be around $600,000, right? And that doesn't have to come from one person, but hopefully with the conversations that you have, you're keeping track of, okay, this person has 150, this person has 2, this person has 3, this person has 50 grand, right? And you're keeping track of these things. So if I was Chris and I wanted to do 4 deals next year and I needed 150 grand on average per deal, I would want at least $600,000 in my private money lender pipeline. Because with real estate, and that's why we need to be having conversations all the time. What came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the money or the deals? That's another question I have all the time. No, I really want to go shop for deals, but I don't have any lenders yet, so I'm not going to do anything, right? Or no, I really want to talk to lenders, but I don't have any deals that need funding, so I guess I'm not going to do anything, right? No, we need to be looking for opportunities the same time that we're having conversations with lenders, because there's really not going to be this utopia, this beautiful day where it's like within 30 seconds of getting off the phone with a lender, your real estate agent sends you a deal. Like, that doesn't happen like that, right? We need to be doing both of these things at the same time. And how many of you right now have a private money lender or someone in mind that you would go to that you think would make an excellent private money lender? How many of you, type it in the chat box, say me, right? How many of you know someone that would make an excellent private money lender? Or maybe you even had a conversation with them and they said, yeah, I'd be interested in doing that, right? All right, cool. So lots of you, boom, 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 boom. I love this. Go find 10 more, okay? I learned this from one of my mentors a long time ago. They said, Noah, look, you can't rely just on that one person, right? Or 2 people, right? Because what if you have a deal and that person went out and lended on another deal? Or what if you went out and that person, went and bought a boat with the money or whatever, right? Or just, decided, to wait or something like that, right? So we got to make sure that we're not just working on one conversation. Just like Christine Stokes said, we want to be having multiple conversations with people, right? So if your average deal, fill this out. How much do you need? Type it, do this exercise real quick and type it in the chat box. What's the average amount that you need? How many deals do you want to do next year, right? And what's the grand total there? What are we working on? What's your goal? Okay, what do we need to make that happen? Because in real estate, I've never seen it work perfect. I don't know about you guys. I've never seen it work perfect where the time that I sold the property, or 3 weeks prior to selling my fix and flip deal, I found another one and it worked out beautifully where like the day that we closed and we gave our lender back their funds, the next day there was another deal that was just ready to go perfect. I've never seen it work like that for an entire year, right? So you guys know this, there's going to be opportunities where if you have a deal that you're looking to purchase, but you already got a fix and flip going on right now, but you only have one lender, we need more money, right? It's never going to work out perfect where it just dovetails deal to deal to deal, right? And as your goals increase and you go from 4 deals or wanting to do maybe 10 or 15 or 20, we got to scale it up and find some more, right? We got to find some more. So it's not just about, yeah, I wish it worked like that, right? So it's not just about what do I need right now, right? We got to be forward thinking. We got to be thinking about the future. Okay. So that's my borrowers, right? This is a good goal exercise for you. So when you log into Private Money Club and don't just poke around and say, oh, okay, like I'll look at the deals, message people, have conversations with folks, right? Get to live events so that you can shake hands with people who are actively looking to put their money to work in these things, right? In these types of loans. All right. So, and then on the flip side of this, what's our money goal for our lenders, right? For our lenders, what's your goal? And this was another question that came up this week at lunch. I went out to lunch with my real estate agent and her husband. I love them. And we talked about, rates. They're like, how do you decide what rate to pay someone? And what's beautiful about this is that I pay them what they want to make. I pay them what they're okay making, my lenders, right? But that involves getting to know them and asking them questions. So one of the things that I love to ask people, and I'm wearing my borrower hat right now, okay? So I'm the real estate investor. If I'm talking to my lender, I want to know, hey, what's your interest goal? How's your money working for you now? And I see what they say, right? How's your money working for you now? Well, I'm in a high yield savings account. I'm at 3%, so I'm kind of happy about that. Okay, great. So in my mind, when I'm asking people this question, I'm just taking mental notes on how their money is performing for them now. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to come back when we start talking about what we can provide them. It's going to be what they want, right? So I'd ask, hey, what interest rate would you like to be earning? Where do you want to be at? And sometimes when a lot of folks who are like in that high yield savings account is amazing mindset, if you can say, hey, would you like to make a double digit rate of return? Like, does 10% sound crazy to you? Do you, if that was attainable, would you be interested in learning more about that? Right? And you're going to see, let them tell you, right? If I'm working with someone who's relatively new to this space and they're working and their funds are in a high yield savings account parked on the sidelines and they know they should be doing better, they could do better, they just don't know how, right? Or maybe their money is in, hey, how many of you are like this? How many of you have money in an IBC policy right now? You're or a whole life policy. You're your own bank. Type me in the chat box, right? How many of you came on this webinar because it was referred from the Money Multiplier team and Chris and Steven? They got you set up being your own bank, and now you're ready to rock and roll and put your funds to work, right? That tells me a lot about your knowledge, about your financial IQ, and your goals by asking that question, right? So I like asking people, hey, what interest rate would you like to be earning? I never say no to money either, by the way. Right now I typically pay 10 to 12%, right? 8 to 12, depending if it's rental property or fix and flips, right? 8 to 12, right? So in my mind, I'm going to ask them, hey, look, what makes sense for you? And I never say no. If I'm talking to Chris Naugle, right? Our fearless leader, Chris Naugle. If I'm talking to Chris Naugle, I know that Chris isn't going to bat an eye or be interested at all if it's not at least 15%, right? We already know that about him, but doesn't mean I'm never going to do a deal with Chris. what that means is I'm taking mental notes of what his goals are. And if there's ever an opportunity that makes sense where I can put Chris's money to work at that interest rate, I'm going to present it to him, right? In the meanwhile, I'm going to be working, serving people at, where it makes sense for both parties, which is super cool, right? And then I'd ask people too, like, what's the impact? Like your money goal, okay? Your money goal. What's the impact on a person's ability to make interest on their money going from that 3% high yield savings to 12% in a private money loan secured by real estate? What does that look like for you? So as lenders, it's good for you to figure out, hey, just like we talked about with Shark Tank, knowing your numbers. So in the conversations that you're having with people on the Private Money Club platform, make sure that you're keeping that in mind of like what it's going to be like to work with you. So if I'm borrowing and I'm saying, hey, I'm a borrower, we pay anywhere from 8 to 12%. From the lender's perspective, make sure that we're saying something similar, right? Maybe we're saying, hey, as a lender, we charge anywhere from 10 to 15%, whatever that might look like for you. But like know your numbers and have that already figured out. I hope that's making some sense for you guys, right? So just a little goal setting here. I remember one time I was sitting down with someone. And it was a different role. It wasn't a coaching role. I think they just wanted some feedback. Like they wanted to buy real estate. They weren't sure if they wanted to buy a rental property or what the deal was. And at the end of the day, you guys, it was this simple. Like they had a lot of cash on hand. They're trying to be smart with it. And they're like, at the end of the day, I was just like, what do you want? And they were like, no, I just want to make money with my money. And I said, well, it sounds like, a double-digit rate of return is something that you'd be really happy about. And they said, yeah, absolutely. I said, well, just lend me your money. Like I'll present you deals. I pay 10% to my private money lenders. Your loan will be secured by real estate that's worth more than the loan amount. And we can cut you monthly checks, right? Would that be something that you're interested in? They said, absolutely. Sometimes it's just that simple, right? It's just that simple. But lots of people don't understand that they can do this. And you just need some coaching, right? Need some coaching, need some education on what the verbiage is, how it all works, right? And you just need some clarity, all right? And that's one of the things that we provide in Private Money Club, right? So roll call here real quick. If you are a Premier member with Private Money Club, type Premier in the chat box. Type Premier member in the chat box. If you are brand new and you're like, I have no idea what the Private Money Club is or how to be a member, type brand new in the chat box. If you're brand new, type brand new in the chat box. All right, cool. So shout out to all my Premier members. All right, cool. A lot. All right, so here's what's going to happen. Everyone that's a brand new member, you can create a profile for free, right? And you can kind of poke around and check it out. And there's limitations on what you can do. There's a lot more benefits of being a Premier member. Too much to talk about right now. But if you are brand new, I'm a big believer that everyone on this call should have it at a minimum a free member profile. All right. So I'm gonna invite Jose to pull up the link, and when Jose Harkin puts this link up there, click on it. Thank you, Jose, and schedule a call with Jose. Click the blueprint link there. Jose will give you a tour. It's free to check out if you haven't done so already. And there's lots of coaching resources, all this cool stuff that Private Money Club does for its members. Every third Thursday, we have a 2-hour mastermind session where we all get together and help solve each other's problems. So there's a ton of stuff. Yeah, that's the one right there. If you're brand new, you're on the call and you're like, I got to check this out, but I want someone who knows what they're talking about, giving me the insight. Click the link right there, the blueprint one that Jose just posted up there, and he'll take great care of you. All right. Everybody should be on there if you're involved in real estate or wanting to put your money to work, right? And looking for different ways to do that. So on these calls here, these are the things that we work on, and I'm going to get into some more practice here in a minute. But credibility, right? Credibility. Every single week we work on a credibility. I don't care if you're brand new or you have 1,000 deals. The system that I help people learn, whether you're on your first deal or your 1,000th deal, is very similar when it comes to credibility. Because no matter where a person's starting from, think about this: your lender doesn't necessarily know you, right? If they're just meeting you for the first time, what process are you taking them through to help gain and establish credibility? Do you just tell them, well, I've done this 1,000 times, and then you don't answer any other questions? Or do you have a system and process to do that? If you're brand new as a borrower and you've never done a deal before, one of the things I really drive home in our accelerator course is surrounding yourself with the right people and then being able to communicate the importance of taking that step, right? And leveraging other people's experience and your past experiences in your real estate investing business. And also for my lenders, like, I see a lot of you on here have like the whole life insurance policy set up and the IBC policies set up, and that's what you're planning on leveraging to become a lender, right? But maybe you haven't pulled the trigger yet, or maybe you've reached out to people and people haven't chosen you, right? That's a real problem. Like, so in Private Money Club, whenever I wear my borrower hat and I post a deal on there that needs funding, I usually get multiple people. Actually, I've always gotten multiple people that were interested in funding my deals. Then I get to choose who I want to work with. And lots of times that comes down to credibility for me. Like, is this person someone that I want to work with? Do I believe that they're going to be able to follow through? Like, so we work on not just the credibility piece of the borrower, but also the credibility piece as a lender. And lots of times clarity has a lot to do with this too, because it's like, what documents do you use? Think about this. We're going to work on this today too. Before the end of our call, we'll practice our elevator pitch and giving people how to give people clarity on how it all works. But a confused mind says no, right? So if you're explaining to someone and they don't understand, they're going to be like, you know what? I don't know if this is for me. The high yield savings account sounds a lot smarter than what you're talking about right now, right? If they don't understand, confused mind says no. Right, so I'm going to teach you how to provide clarity for people, and if you have the first two, the third comes. That confidence comes, and then the community as well. We've been talking a lot about that, how good it is. I mean, we're on a call right now with 122 people solid who are excited about private money lending. Inside Private Money Club, when you're working with Premier members, you're seeing that people are serious about putting their money to work or serious about being good borrowers. Right? Of course, there's always due diligence involved, and that's some of the things we teach. These calls are designed to help you make moves. We're going to get into practicing elevator pitches and documents and things like that here in the next couple of slides. But I always like to show this halfway through because I don't want you to log off and then be like, well, what should I be working on? Okay, so these are some things that are on our agenda. They're on our radar, things that are coming up. If you haven't done any of these yet, pick one. Pick one. You can create a PMC profile and schedule a blueprint call with Jose for free, right? There's no investment to do that. We also have a mobile home challenge coming up here. We're going to talk about, I'm going to show you some deals here in a minute. Manufactured homes. If you're interested in investing in manufactured homes, mobile homes, PMC has a course called the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge. My wife, Christy, who's featured here behind me, she's teaching that. That starts Sunday, September 8th. So if you're interested in learning that, and also from a lender's perspective, that's extremely valuable. My next accelerator course is starting September 30th. So this is 4 weeks, a meeting twice a week to help you become a better borrower, help you become a better lender, and we limit that to 20 seats. Derek said mobile homes, love. Yeah, Derek, how are your mobile homes doing? I know Derek was just closing on 2 deals that he got. I think he bought them for like $4,000 or something crazy like that. And then in Charlotte, we've got an event coming up, the Money Tank event at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Myself, Christy, Steven, Chris, the whole PMC team will be there in Charlotte, and it's at the racetrack. That's going to be a super fun time, right? So all right, cool. A couple things. Let me make sure I got this set up for you guys. I had some questions here about these courses. Here are some of the topics that we teach in the accelerator coaching class. If you have any questions about this, you want to enroll, Jose is the guy. You just click on the link. He can help schedule a time for it to talk about the class and get you enrolled into the accelerator coaching program. But we're limiting this class size here to 20 people. I'm currently halfway through a class right now, and it's over 20 people, and I just want to make sure that we're giving everyone the one-on-one attention that they want, need, and deserve. So we're going to be limiting the class size to 20 folks here. Mobile Home Take Action Challenge taught by Christy Duckett. That kicks off September 8th. This is 4 weeks of coaching. It is a pretty intense program because Christy, if you know my wife, she's all about taking action. She has no time for people that are just, I mean, you can tune in, watch, have a good time and learn, that's all good, but she's going to give you assignments. She's going to give you things to work on. And the goal here is to have deals in the works as you exit out of that class, right? That's not just a look and listen. It's a look, listen, go take action, report back. Here's what you need to do. It's not called the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge for nothing, right? So if you're interested in either of those courses, there's the links there, and Jose can get you set up. And that kicks off Sunday evening, 6 o'clock, first section here. All right, cool. And I'm going to go over here's some case studies. I told you guys earlier, I'm big on disclaimers. You had to click a disclaimer before you even got in this Zoom call here. These are case studies of mine and my wife's about mobile homes. I'm going to hit these real quick because people had some questions about this from last week's call. But this is why I love private money lending. So if you are a private money lender and you're on this call, I would pay attention to this, because if you want to get great in business, it's all about solving problems. Real estate is all about solving people's problems, right? And as private money lenders, we are solving problems, right? And as a real estate investor, I'm going to share with you some of the problems that we encountered that my private money lenders solved. And so this is why Chris has asked Christy to teach about mobile homes and manufactured homes, because in Private Money Club, we believe that there's going to be a huge opportunity to get your money to work in smaller loan amounts and deals that simply are great real estate deals that otherwise would not be able to get funding. Why are private money loans so great? Is because it's relationship based. And what's cool about, I'll give you an example. This house right here, this was a deal that we did this year, and it was one of our best deals this year. There was a house next door. It was on the same parcel, different addresses. We subdivided it, sold the house, broke even. Now we had this manufactured home that we owned free and clear, and we sold it for I think it was $125,000. Now we use private money to fund this. Why? Because hard money if I were to go to a hard money lending company, they would have seen that there was a manufactured home on the property, and then they wouldn't necessarily have considered that within the initial appraisal. They'd be like, hey, we want to appraise the single family house. The single family house is worth $225, so we're going to give you 80% of the $225,000, even though you've got a home over here that's a manufactured home that's worth $150, right? That's probably what would have happened. But because we went to a private money lender, we were able to show them, provide comps, provide evidence of our case, of why this would be a great opportunity to them, present it to them. It got funded, right? I don't know if we would have been able to do this deal if it weren't for private money lenders, right? So I'm just throwing it out there. This deal was 2 private money loans for $150,000 each. This was another manufactured house that came to us, motivated seller, and didn't need a whole lot of work. There wasn't a whole lot of issues and problems with this, but again, hard money lending companies may or may not a lot of them don't like to fund these types of deals. And we certainly can't go to a traditional lender and expect to get all the money that you need for the purchase price and the repair costs. This was a profit of over $50,000. And by the way, we're not big on, I know we're big on manufactured homes, but it's not like all we do. So if it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when you as a real estate investor are going to encounter a lead on a manufactured home. And what I see all these real estate investors do, if you're a real estate investor and you're tired of competition, get into manufactured homes, because there is none. We've got other investors that buy this. I feel like I'm the only game in town, but I know we're not. Like, other people are doing them, but it's just not the feeding frenzy, right? When we make offers on these properties, we're getting them at deep discounts, right? And then when we turn around, we fix them and we sell them, we're getting listing price for these properties. We're selling right at or just below listing price in today's market, which is unheard of, right? Clean, safe, affordable. We do them super nice on the inside. This was over a $50,000 profit here. We're closing on this one next week. This was funded by someone in the Private Money Club as well. Our loan on this was $113,000. So we borrowed $113,000. That covered the purchase price. This deal would not have gotten funded if it weren't for private money. Here's why. Right where those stairs are was the property line. That manufactured home was on someone else's property. It was placed wrong. And so what we did is we actually went next door. We bought that lot, combined the parcels, and now there's no issues. We did some light cosmetic repairs. We're 113 into this thing as far as the loan balance was. We borrowed enough for the purchase price, enough for the repair cost. We're selling it for $215. We close next week, right? So this deal would not have happened with a hard money lending company, with a traditional lender, where they would have seen that the property, but because we're able to have conversations, remember, relationship-based lending, easy breezy, right? Easy breezy, simplest money we ever made. This is going to be, I mean, you guys do the math. It's $215 minus realtor fees, minus holding costs, paying my lender $4,000 and some dollars. We borrowed the money for 133 days. I know this because I just typed up the payoff information and sent it to the attorney this morning because the closing's next week. So in 133 days, this lender made over $4,000 and didn't have to worry about nothing, right? And no, she didn't use her IRA on this one. All right, this is another one, different price point. Gold, wait till you get a load of this, okay? Yeah, you should retire. Cash out, come down to South Carolina. The water's warm, right? And the investments are awesome. So this is a little one here. So this is good for my lenders. So many of you, especially those of you with IBC policies, the whole life insurance policies, and you're like, no, I don't have 300 grand in my life insurance policy, my banking system yet, but I got 20 grand. Like, you could have done this deal here if that's you. So we purchased this. This is like more like what you think of sometimes when you think of mobile home, right? Some people think of a setup like this. This is on land. So the land and the mobile home we bought for $18,000, and right now it's listed for sale for, I think, $50,000, which I think is a little high, but we'll see. I'll let you know next week if we sell it or not, right? Didn't do anything to it. So the lending opportunities are there, all right, at all price ranges. There are some nuances and different things that you got to make sure are in place, and that's one of the things that my wife Christy helps you with during this mobile home take action challenge, right? It's a mouthful, right? And guys, if you want to enroll in this, it's not too late. I think we got about 10 people right now enrolled in Christy's mobile home take action challenge. So it's a small group, super, I don't like to use the word intimate. That's kind of weird, but lots of one-on-one attention, right? And Christy Duckett's one of the best coaches in real estate in the entire country. I have no problem saying that. I'm not just saying that because she's my wife. I see her every single day helping people and making a difference in people's lives. All right, cool. Here's the question. I would like to be a lender, but I don't know how the process works. Do I need a business account, or do I need an LLC or a holding company? Or can you refer me to a company that can create a trust business account? As from a lender's perspective, if you talk to attorneys that help people get set up with entities like LLCs and things like that, I'm sure they can rattle off a million reasons why that might be a good idea. I'm not an attorney. I'm not really sure what's going to be right for you, Mr. Anonymous attendee. However, if I were talking to one of my friends or family members or something along those lines and they were interested in lending, what I would tell them to talk to an attorney and then talk to their accountant. You may get two different answers, but a lot of how you get set up from a lender's perspective a lot of that would have to be like how you're taxed, right? And what that looks like for you. From a business standpoint, I think it's great to have a business, but I think you want to make sure you're making enough money, right, to go the LLC route to make it worth your while. But I would talk to not a real estate attorney. I would talk to an attorney that sets up LLCs, entities, trusts, things like that, and ask them for the details, right? From my experience, I think there's a certain threshold you're going to want to cross before it might make sense, okay? If you are borrowing funds and you're a real estate investor, here's the deal, guys. Never wire funds to people if it's in their own name. Like, that's my company policy. That's my rule. Okay. You do what you want to do. Talk to an attorney. I would never wire funds directly to an individual. I would like to see that person has an entity set up, an LLC set up, some sort beforehand. And that's to protect us as lenders. And I'll say that again. So if I'm wiring funds to an individual, there's a lot of laws that, lending laws you got to look into where you want to make sure like that person's not using it as a primary residence and things like that. Anytime I've seen, oftentimes if there's a mess or something goes awry with private money loans. Lots of times it's because they wired funds directly to the person. We don't, that's not a practice that we practice here at Private Money Club, right? We want to make sure you have some sort of entity set up. So as a borrower, I'm not an attorney, but like, look, no one's going to lend you money if they know what they're doing. If you're operating as a sole proprietor in your personal name. Okay. So that's, I don't, yeah, thank you. Prime Core will help you get set up. Yeah. And we've got resources within Private Money Club, different companies that can help you with that too. Thank you, Ron. Thank you. Are there new construction contractors in PMC that I could connect with? Yeah, there is, Seth, for 100%. New construction, the best. I want to say Bridget Best, and email me. And there's one or two off the top of my head that are in Private Money Club that I've seen, and they've done presentations and within the club, and it's like, oh, that makes sense, right? That makes sense. Can I have your email as well? Oh, what did I start? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? You can direct message me and talk about why you might want that and what you got going on. All right, cool. And we answered that question. All right, here we go. So whenever I'm teaching elevator pitches, right? It's all about floors for me. Like that's the visual that I have. Okay, so maybe right here we might be on floor one. Okay, and anytime that I've taught, when I'm teaching my accelerator students about elevator pitches, a big thing to understand is if you really want to do this the right way, let me ask you, who do you think should be pushing the buttons in the elevator to go to the next floor? Who do we want pushing the buttons to go to the next floor? What do you think? Who's pushing the buttons? Who's making the decisions to go to floor number 2? What do you think? They are. Dean, bingo. Lender, Derek, beautiful. Yeah, gold, lender. Yeah. So if we do this right, at no point in time is this like used car salesman. At no point in time should people feel like they're being pressured or that they're like stuck in a corner having to listen to us, right? Like that's not good business. That's not how we do things, right? So what I like to give people are different talking points and leaving them intrigued to hear about the next talking points. And whenever that person that I'm talking to about becoming one of my lenders, I make sure that they're the ones pushing the button. That they're the ones that want to learn more. All right. So if you want to get good at this, just put yourself in a mental space where you're like, okay, I'm not going to be pushy. I'm going to allow them to make the decision to learn more. Right. And when it's their idea to learn more and they're eager to learn more about what we do, and sometimes this could take 30 seconds. I've had elevator rides that are 3 years, right? Depending on how often I see the person, right? So, lots of times when you're at an event, a function, things like this, a networking event, it's very common to introduce yourself and say, hey, look, this is what I do for a living. What do you do for a living? They ask you the same question, right? That's ground level. That's like the basement for the elevator, right? And then as you run into them, maybe you go the next level, so on and so forth. But so just, sharing a little bit of a mindset there when it comes to this stuff is make sure they're the ones that want to learn more. And if they don't want to learn more, it's either not for them or maybe we need to practice more, and get better at communicating and communication and sales. Okay, so private money loan, what is it? What is it? It's really important that you are able to just get this out quick, right? If people want to learn more, they're going to ask you more questions, right? But time is our most valuable asset. We can't waste it. So we got to be able to get it out, right? So private money loan, how do we communicate quickly to someone that has never heard of this option before what a private money loan is, right? So private money loan, it's a loan secured by real estate, just like a bank. Just like a bank. So just like a bank is another mindset. So when you're going into conversations of how can I get someone excited about this and feel safe, provide clarity, provide a good understanding in a very quick amount of time. Well, I found that explaining to people that this is just like what a bank would do is one of the best ways to do that. So if I'm talking to someone who's never done a private money loan with me before and they want to get a good understanding of it, I say, hey, look, do you own the house that you live in now? And lots of times they'll say yes, right? And when you bought that house, did you go and fill out a bunch of paperwork? Did you sign a mortgage? Did you have a promissory note to outline how much you're going to be paying, when you're going to be paying, who you're making your payment to, all of these things. And they're going to say, yes, of course. All right, great. And then you have insurance on your house before closing. You called Jake from State Farm and you got set up, and they're going to say, yeah, absolutely. And you did a title search on the property to make sure that there's no liens on the property. And you probably got your lender a title policy. They want the title insurance policy, and they say, yeah, I think so. It's the same exact thing. So instead of us going to Wells Fargo and Wells Fargo asking us for all of these documents, what we do as real estate investors, we work with people just like you, and we help them think and act just like the bank. So just like you signed a mortgage, we sign a mortgage with you. Just like you signed a promissory note when you bought your house, we're going to sign a promissory note when we buy an investment property with your funds. Just like you went and got insurance set up, we do the same thing. You following me here? And sometimes when we put people in that space, that context, it clicks. And when it clicks, it's a beautiful thing to see. People get really, really, really excited, right? On the flip side of that, if I'm a lender, I think as lenders, let me ask you a question. How many of you are on here right now are buying real estate and you're using cash to buy your real estate? Is there any real estate investors on here that are currently using cash? Or maybe you're using hard money, right? If you're using cash or hard money, or if you ever have in the past, just type it in the chat box. I love hard money lenders, right? I used hard money for a long time. I used hard money lenders up until I had enough private money, right? I think it's a world where we can all kick butt and create win-win situations in, right? Is anyone here on this call using cash for your real estate deals or using hard money loans for your real estate deals? I like to find people who have a history, who have a track record, who are experienced, that are using cash, that are using hard money lenders. And then going to them and saying, hey, let me ask you a question. How much are you paying the hard money lending company? Oh, I'm paying 13%. Wow, what if you could work with me and I only charged you 12? Would that be worth having a conversation? As a lender, you know that this person has a track record. You know that they're doing the business. You can look it up on their properties online. Maybe this is a person that's in your hometown. You can drive by the houses, go give a tour or whatever, right? I love converting people. A lot of people in my area use hard money lending or their own cash. And private money lending is becoming more popular the more they learn about it, right? But for lots of people, that's how they've always done it. So that's just what they do. So if you can take folks that have a track record, but we got to explain to them, hey, just like your hard money lending company, you can work with me. I'm a person. It's probably a lot cheaper. Right? I can give you more money. I don't require you to come up with a down payment or whatever it is, right? So there's going to be a lot of perks for working with you if you can convert them. But it's just a matter of educating folks, right? It's just a matter of educating people, right? Yeah, absolutely. So, so I see people here, I use hard money lending and gap funding. So these are folks that are like, yeah, I've got a track record. I'm using hard money. Dean's using cash, right? So if these were folks in Private Money Club, maybe I would make a post on the forum. How many folks are real estate investors in here and they're still using cash or using hard money lending, right? I'd love to have a conversation with you and then learn about their business, learn about their business model, and then go say, hey, look, what would it be worth it to have a conversation to learn how to pay less in interest, to learn how to pay less in points, to learn how to pay no junk fees, and work with a person, work with me. I can make quick decisions. What do you think? Just like a bank, I require a mortgage, promissory note, right? You follow me? But it's introducing them to the concept and getting them excited about the idea to work with you. Okay. So when people are excited about this, they're intrigued and they want to learn more. It's good to just kind of get into the money because they're thinking about it. Right. So figure out, just like I said earlier on the call, what are your numbers? What's your business model? What do you pay? What's your business plan? We pay anywhere from 8 to 12% annualized interest. Each loan opportunity is unique. That's what I do. Okay, that's what I say. I've said that 1,000 times at least, right? Probably more. Now, as a lender, figure out what you charge. Hey, as a lender, I charge anywhere from 10 to 15%. Each loan opportunity is unique. Do a variance there, right? Create a spread, create some wiggle room so people want to get to know you, have conversations, negotiate with you, right? Makes it fun. All right. And then this isn't the end all be all. Okay. So please don't think, oh, I've got all these things, I'm good. But from an elevator pitch standpoint, from a conversation standpoint, to get people excited and feel good about having clarity around how their funds are secured and all of these things, we want to mention these things. We want to talk about these things. We want to provide these items here. Okay. So, hey, what makes real estate great? is that a person's money is secured by real estate. What makes private money lending so great? A person's funds are secured by real estate that's worth much more. But none of that matters if you don't have these documents here. So for all my friends on this call that are brand new, all my friends on the call that just got IBC, got your own banker now, right? And you're looking for investment opportunities, you're looking for loan opportunities. Don't do a deal unless you're getting this stuff here, right? This is what makes it sexy. I don't like to use the word safe, but this is what makes it have collateralized, right? So number one, promissory note. So I tell my lenders, hey, we always provide you with a promissory note that outlines the terms of the loan. That's our contract. We always provide you with a mortgage or deed of trust, depending on the state, right, to secure, and that it gets filed and secures the loan against the real estate, right? You'll have a lien on the property, right? We always provide a personal guarantee. So even though you're lending to my LLC, I'm also personally liable, responsible for this loan, right? I'm a big believer in that, okay? And then we always provide insurance, just like a bank would want. Now, there's some other things that we want to check off these boxes too, like a lender's title policy and things like that. But just for conversation purposes, this is what separates. Because what's going to happen is people are going to be like, oh my God, 12%. Is that for real? Who would pay 12%? Is that for real? Yes, it's for real, right? It's in writing, secured by the real estate, backed by a personal guarantee, right? And we set up all the insurance and we make sure there's no liens or anything on the property as well, right? Do title searches in addition to. So all of these things, right? And I know we're getting a little late here in the call, but we're about to wrap up here. It's really important that we start making moves, but educated moves. Okay, so like I always tell people, don't become a motivated lender. Like just because someone on Private Money Club says, "Oh, here's my opportunity. It's super high interest," right? Like make sure that you take your time, you ask good questions, you talk to the person, you analyze the deal, right? And if you're like, I have no clue about how to do all that stuff, let's learn. Okay, let's learn about this stuff, right? And there's opportunities. Like you can keep hopping on the Quickstart webinar. And every single week we talk about different things. We've done this 30 weeks in a row now. Or you can take the accelerator class and we deep dive into this stuff, right? So I'll ask, I had people messaging me directly, Jose. So can you throw the link up there so that people can just schedule a call with you to enroll if they're interested in doing some educational stuff outside of just the Quickstart webinar? All the documents are prepared and recorded by a licensed professional. So again, I'm not drawing up a mortgage. I'm not drawing up a promissory note. I'm not going to go online and download something from the internet and hope that it's okay. Everything is prepared and recorded by the attorneys, all right, that are doing the closing. Okay, so we got to make sure that we're using real estate attorneys. It's only going to help eliminate any errors. Make sure everything says what it should say in the contracts. We make sure things are state specific. It's going to help eliminate the people who don't take this business seriously. Right? We want to make sure we're doing this stuff the right way. Okay. Thank you, Jose. And then I had a question here. I want to join your group and need more details. Here's my email address. So Lewis messaged me directly, and it would be easier, Lewis, if you messaged Jose Harkin directly with your email so that he can connect with you. Okay. All right, cool. And then where else can a real estate investor borrow all the money that they need to fund a real estate deal without having to go to a bank? Where else can a person put money to work at a great interest rate and have that money secured by an asset that's worth much more, right? At the end of the day, if we can get great at practicing these things here, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay, right? All right, cool. Make a move. All right, so this is my little system here. Number one, we post a deal. This is how I leverage Private Money Club, and I got 2 minutes before I have to go to the bus stop right here. So this is what it looks like. Whenever I have an opportunity, I post it in the Private Money Club. I also post in the forum. Now, my call to action, like maybe if you have a website, I recommend having a site that can give people further information, allow them to have a little bit more due diligence, right? That's kind of what I do. But if you don't have a website or anything like that, like you make sure you're clear on what your call to action is, right? So if you post a deal, post in the forum, make sure you say, hey, look, schedule a call with me. Here's my email. Here's my phone number. I'd love to get on the phone with you. We should not be lending money without having conversations, getting to know people, building relationships. Okay. So make sure there's some step in there that allows you to do that. So people go to my website, they learn more about us, they hop on our calendar, schedule a call, and then I have a 30 to 60-minute phone call with them, finding out what their goals are, what they're looking to do, and seeing if we like working with each other, right? And that's been my little system now that I've used to build out my private money lender list with leveraging the Private Money Club, which is super cool. Okay. All right, guys, I think that's it. We covered this. I got some old slides in here from previous weeks, but I'm gonna put this up one more time. The make a move slide. This is what we got going on. It would be great to see everybody in Charlotte, by the way. If like you're in North Carolina, like no brainer, right? We got people flying in. VIP is actually already sold out. There was 50 VIP tickets. Those are gone. And the event itself is limited to 150 people. And I don't think we're close to the 150 mark yet, but that's gonna fill up fast. This is gonna be really fun. It's at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Charlotte, North Carolina, November 8th and 9th. So our ballroom space, it's not even a ballroom. It's like the media room where like the racers, the race car drivers and the teams do like their pre and post race interviews. So it's going to be a pretty cool event to go to. So hope you guys had an amazing time. Well over our time. Thanks for hanging in there. Nathan's in the house. Yeah, I'll see you there for sure. If you guys need anything at all, Jose's in the chat. You guys got the link. Schedule a call with him. And I will see you next Thursday. All right. Don't forget to get your reps in. Practice that elevator pitch. And I'll see you on the next call. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.